Stephen, there must be a real mix of emotions after that game. You must be proud that they've put up such a fine performance, but disappointed despite that performance of going out tonight.
Yeah, listen, I think most games you get involved with the under-20s, there's always mixed emotions after the game because, they put so much into the game. They've got a great appetite for it. I continually praise their work ethic and their enthusiasm. Maybe at times tonight we came up a little bit short with a little bit of quality in the final third and maybe up against more experienced defenders. Players who've played a lot more first-team senior games than what they have. So, this is why I thought this competition was going to be good, because it lets our young players see how far they have to go. And I said to them in there, make a mental note or make a physical note in a bit of paper of what you've thought of playing against Edinburgh and playing against Airdrie, and see where you think you need to improve. Is it physically? Are you not quick enough? Will the opposition be a bit sharper? Was your crossing not good enough? So, these games give them the opportunity to do that. Sometimes against under-20s, the game goes along and you don't really learn an awful lot, but I've learned more probably in the last two games against senior opposition about the young players, so proud of them. Listen, I'm always proud of them. I rant and rave and scream and shout at them, but I do it for their own purpose, because I know they can give me so much more, and they leave every ounce of energy on the pitch. I thought they'd done that tonight. To be honest, Airdrie had some chances probably to put the game to bed, but the most pleasing thing was we kept the game alive. We kept the game alive. When it went 2-0, we could have chucked it and felt sorry for ourselves. We got a goal at the right time, then it's game on. Then it's a real basketball game end to end. So for anybody who hasn't seen an under-20 game before, that's what it's like most weeks. But overall, I'm pleased with everything we've went about. I'm just disappointed we've lost.
You mentioned the learning experience. It's been quite a big few months for them, without a Hampden experience for some of them, then building Edinburgh City, now this one. I guess you'll be looking for that level of performance to continue when they start the league programme next week. Yeah,
well, that's the aim. I think they've set a little bit of a benchmark tonight with regards, how they want to play, their own standards. I think some of them dropped below it tonight. I think some of our players were just a bit off it tonight as well. So, they have to maintain their standards. If they want to go and play in the first team, there's certain aspects of their game has to improve. I would like to think there's a few of them close to the first team, but sometimes you see them tonight and they're a little bit naive in decision making and things, and physically using their body. So I'm hoping that continues into the league season. We head off to Inverness next Tuesday night. We've got a long trek up there, which is fine. We're looking forward to it. We're in fine fettle, so we'll try and build on tonight. The enthusiasm, the appetite, the quality we showed at times. I think we have to give that a little bit of a plaudit. They rotated the ball, they circulated the ball against a good side who want to do the same. Looking forward to the start of the season.
There also must be an element that must be the toughest game some of them have ever played in, because it was played in a real cup tie spirit. As you said, a basketball game at times going backwards and forwards. They wouldn't have played in a game like that before, really, against people like Mark Fitzpatrick and Ian Russell, who've been round the block a few times.
Yeah, well, it's the physical side of it. It's the intensity of the game. And it's like playing first team games. The intensity is a lot higher and it lasts a lot longer. Under 20 games there's breaks and you can get a breather and you can keep the ball and people don't press as much. In first team games at any level, there's a wee bit more at it. And it's because players are playing for their livelihood, Graham. Players are playing for extra money, they're playing for bonuses, playing for first team contracts. So that's why, I keep coming back and saying that's why it was a good tournament. So physically, a lot of them are out on their feet. That's a little level again physically we have to get to. How do we maintain that? We have to maintain it on the training pitch, and we have to keep our standards high, and the intensity in our training has to be high. So when we arrive in a big game or they arrive in the first team, they're physically ready to cope. So it will have been the toughest game for some of them, but I hope there's a lot tougher to come.
You also mentioned that after the Edinburgh City game, 400 odd turned up for that one, but there was over 1,000 here tonight. You mentioned that's part of the learning experience as well, that people getting frustrated with them. But tonight, the Motherwell fans certainly got behind them, to those that turned out. Well,
I just hope they go away with a smile on their face and think, that the future is kind of bright. That we have 2 or 3 in there, maybe 4 in there, who we think over the next 6 months to 8 months, maybe 12 months can push into the first team. So that's the responsibility of the young players, that's the responsibility of me, the responsibility of Mark and James to push them on and make sure we get that next level. But it was an experience for them to play in front of 1,000 people. I know they played at Hampden, in front of a few more. That's probably the second biggest crowd some of them have ever played in front of. Young James Scott coming off the bench at 15 will never have played in front of a crowd before. So all you want to do is whet their appetite and give them that little hunger that they want a little bit more. We appreciate the support, it's great. The fans coming out, it was a nice night for them to come out against the local rivals. I just hope they went away in good spirits, thinking that they've seen a side who committed themselves, played well in spells. Yeah, a little bit naive at times, that's what happens with young players, but most importantly that they enjoyed their performance.
I think they showed that at the end, because they stood on their feet, gave them a good hand as they went off. I know there's a lot of good performance tonight, Stephen, but there was one in particular that I was impressed with, was young PJ Morrison in goals. He had a lot of work to do tonight and handled most of it extremely well.
Yeah, it's great for him. With Brett moving on, PJ becomes number 1, and that becomes a little bit of added responsibility. You have to perform every game you play in. You've got to show that me and Jim made the right decision by making him the number 1. So I think he's done that tonight. I think he's got better throughout pre-season. He's becoming a bit more mature. You know, of course he makes the odd little mistake now and again, and we can deal with that. But as long as he's trying to do the right things, pulled off some vital saves. I mean, particularly one at the end. Great save, keeps us in the game. First half, when they're on top and have a little bit of the ball, makes good saves. So hopefully he'll grow as well. You know, it can be a lonely old life being a goalkeeper. You know, when you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel towards the first team. But you've got to keep working away in training, get the chance to, you know, perform and play well when you get, you know, an opportunity. So I think he's done that today. I think against Edinburgh as well, he was competent. I've seen a big difference in him this year, and I hope he continues to build on it.